It's a Star Wars podcast, baby, hosted by yours truly, Eastside Dave. Hello there, Davey Mac. On this particular program, I am referred to as Darth David. Tonight, it's the season finale of MAUL Sith Lord. Episodes 9 and 10 we are going to cover, as well as some interesting Star Wars news revolving Kathleen Kennedy, a Sith Lord unto herself, Pedro Pascal, Grogu, and more. But what can I tell you about MAUL? The show was a winner. We finally got a great Star Wars live action out of Disney. I'm not a Rebels hater. I thought there were plenty of good Rebels episodes. To me, it's skewed to a younger demographic. Bad Batch was a massive letdown. I was looking for grit. I was looking for grime. I was looking for a little bit of an older perspective for Bad Batch. Total letdown. Omega is one of the worst characters in the history of Star Wars. But the good news is that MAUL has finally tapped into something. You don't have to go kiddie stuff with Star Wars. Even children themselves are just, I hate to say it, but it's the way society is. Kids themselves grow up quicker. They're used to a little more grown-up type of content on their feeds or with their shows and movies and whatnot. So you don't have to do the baby stuff anymore with Star Wars. I mean, you want to do the Lego thing or the young people, no issues there. But when we're doing a big-time animated series or especially anything live action, let's go for a little bit older. It worked with Andor. It worked with MAUL. Excellent season 1. I'm extremely excited for season 2. Holy cow. Plenty of action. Plenty of interesting things to talk about. And we're going to get right to it. Okay, it's great to have you here on Yaddle Chattle, a Star Wars podcast. We do these things after a show appears. We're talking show, movie, anything big-time Star Wars. If it's a live-action series, a big-time animated series like them all, or obviously any of the movies. So we're going to be doing this today. We're going to be off for a few weeks, but guess what? Yaddle Chattle will return once we see the Mandalorian and Grogu. Oh, it's a good time once again to be a Star Wars fan. You know, you go on Twitter and you feel like everything is lost, and I get it. Kathleen Kennedy and Disney, they've made a ton of mistakes with regard to Star Wars. Most notably, treating the fans like dog shit. Let's just be honest. They expected us to eat slop. Don't take my word for it. Bob Iger, at one of those stupid shareholders meetings, with the phone calls and this and that, said, we were surprised, with Star Wars and Marvel, we were surprised to learn that audiences prefer good quality over more content. You think? You mean audiences want something good to watch rather than eating bowls and bowls of shit? No, duh. Maybe they're finally understanding not to take the fans for granted, because they've taken fans for granted. MAUL is the first thing that I feel like the fans have been listened to. They totally blew it with the Acolyte. What we saw here on MAUL should have been the Acolyte. That show should have been Sith, and it should have been about a Jedi going to the dark side. Instead, it was nonsensical, poorly written, terribly acted, awfully produced, and is the worst show in the history of television or streaming, bar none. However, they got it right here. So let's get into it, baby. It's Yaddle Chattle. It's a Star Wars podcast. We start episode 9 with Maul and company in Nico Demus's place, talking to Dryden Voss via the hologram. The hologram becoming more and more of a telephone type of thing in Star Wars. I know it's been like that for quite some time. I saw it as more of answering machine. But then again, okay, Vader, Palpatine, Empire Strikes Back, no issues there. Voss, basically, he wants Maul to kill the mob boss of Crimson Tide, the leader of Crimson Tide, and if Maul promises to do that, Voss will go to Janix and rescue Maul and his crew. And Maul pretty much says, okay, good deal. I agree. Boom. Opening credits reveal Chapter 9, Strange Allies. And that's what we're going to call the group of Darth Maul and Rook, Vario, the other Mandalorians, who then unite with the Lawsons, Two Boots, Master Daki, and Devin. They're going to be the allies, or the strange allies is what we'll call them on this episode, because Darth David can't be listing all those people every time we want to talk about that one group, okay? So for the purpose of this episode, that's the group. Maul and his company, and the Lawsons, and Daki, and Devin, and them. Okay, that's the strange allies today. We go to Two Boots, Lawson, Daki, Riley, Devin on the run. Devin having a dream vision of Maul, and Daki's like, what's going on? What's happening? You were having a dream? Was it a Force vision? And then all of a sudden, boom, here come the 11th brother and Merrick, the Inquisitors. They're on the hunt. The good guys go, they flee. They end up meeting with Maul, who says, look, I can help you guys escape. Trust me. Trust my crew. There's a ship on the way with Dryden Voss. I know. His face looks scary. He gets upset at times, and his face turns red, very much like Darth David. Hello. Lawson knows of a way out of the city. He tells Maul, so basically they are helping each other. They are strange allies. Maul says, look, you know, Lawson, you know a way to get the hell out of here? We'll follow you, and then you follow us onto Voss's ship. Everybody will escape. So that's when they form their strange alliance. By the way, I like in this scene, Two Boots says, Darth Maul looks very untrustworthy. You think? He's a red and black horned demon. Yeah, I would say untrustworthy is a little light, Two Boots. Downright evil would be the adjective I would use. Anyway, they're walking. Riley, by the way, very clumsy. He steps on Vario as they're walking, and Vario's like, watch your step here. I'm walking here. You know, he pulls a Dustin Hoffman Midnight Cowboy on Riley, and I didn't blame him. There's nothing that Darth David hates more than I'm walking and someone steps on the back of my shoes, on the back of my feet, on my heels or whatever. No. What are you doing? Why are you even walking so close to me? Give me like a 3 feet buffer zone. Don't be stepping on my feet. No problems with Vario getting on Riley's case. And quite frankly, if there was one annoying character a la Omega, it's Riley for me. I'm sorry. He is annoying. I need him to get a haircut. All right, let's get a haircut. This little new wave semi-mullet thing, not working for me. The guy looks like Julian Casablancas, the lead singer of The Strokes. And while I love that band, I don't need that showing up in Star Wars. All right? Cut your hair, kid. I'm sorry. Let Darth David do it. I got clippers. I just did my son's hair. He had Riley's kind of hairdo, and I said, enough's enough. I took out the clippers. Zip, zip, zip. It was like that scene from Stripes. I mean, and he had so much hair. I could have made like a small animal out of all of the hair that fell off of his head. So, Riley Lawson, if you need a haircut, come to Darth David. I'm not going to charge you. I'm going to ask you some questions, though. And the questions are going to be just as uncomfortable as when the 11th brother, you know, the Inquisitor was asking you those questions. I'm just letting you know. Anyway, Daki says Devin has been hiding something from him, and basically he knows that Maul and Devin have a connection. And she's like, yeah, we do. Maul saved me and Riley at the train station. And Daki's like, you think you could have told me this a little bit earlier? You're aware you're on the path to the dark side, are you not? I tell you, Devin has become a great character for me because she's consistent. She's consistently, slowly, gradually going to the dark side, and we're getting a nice inverted, you know, Anakin Skywalker, Ahsoka, and this is like the negative of that. Whoops, I just hit the microphone. This is like the negative of that. This is like, now it's Maul and Devin over here. I enjoy that. And like I said, for the Ahsoka show, Devin could be what? She would be like 10 years younger than Ahsoka. I could see her popping up there. Being at that point a very powerful dark side user. Also, Docky points out, yeah, but did Maul save you and Riley for your sake or his? Okay, Master Docky, you're on it. You're smart. You're thinking. Just like Bobby the Brain Heenan. Always thinking one step ahead, Master Docky. I love it. I call him Docky Smarty. By the way, the group, they're walking. They see Imperials. Spybot takes down the Imperials' communications, and then the group battles stormtroopers. There's an ATST there. Maul is just destroying everything in his path. We go over, and we're now seeing the 11th brother and Merrick. They're still stalking them, taking their sweet-ass time, by the way. I know it's unbecoming for a Sith to run, very much like, a Michael Myers from Halloween, but, I mean, could you at least pick up the pace a little? Could you power walk if you're not going to run? We go back to the Strange Allies, and they're under some sort of power plant, which Lawson says, look, we open up this little grate here, and we can escape underneath this power plant. This will get us out of the city into the rendezvous point to meet up with Dryden Voss. I won't say the only, but one of the very small little criticisms of this show was, to me, it was a little hard to figure out the layout of Janix. It came across as, the Gotham City meets Coruscant. But then there's, underground places. This was a little confusing because they're underground and then they're in a jungle. I don't know. That could just be me, Darth David. And I'll be honest, sometimes I can be quite stupid. We go back to the Inquisitors. They're on the trail of the Strange Allies, who now, as they're walking underground, they get to a toxic waste river of some sort. Interesting, toxic waste river. And they need to cross two people at a time with a skiff pushed by Spybot, who's very impatient. Spybot's like, let's get going here. Lawson and Riley are the first to go, which makes sense. They don't have the Force. Let's get them out of here first. And they're bonding a little bit, and I like it when Lawson calls Riley man. I know he did it later in the episode. I thought he might have done it here, but he's like, hey, man, I'm sorry. I don't know why that cracked up. Father calling his son man. I mean, I don't think I've ever done that. I might start to because of Brander Lawson. Okay. Hey, man, what are you doing, man? I don't know. That cracked me up. Lawson, Riley, they safely get off the skiff. So they cross this toxic waste dump, river. Two Boots and Vario go next, leaving Maul, Devin, Docky, Rook, and the Mandos behind. And that's when the 11th brother and Marek show up. And big fight ensues. Stormtroopers also there. Quick question. Why did they set Riley's gun to stun? Is Lawson like, come on, I'm going to keep you innocent as much as possible? Put that thing on blaster bolts. I mean, this is a fight for our lives. We don't need to be stunning anybody. No, sir. Big 3-on-2 lightsaber duel is going on, meanwhile, with Maul, Docky, and Devin versus the two Inquisitors. And as Spybot's going back and forth and pushing that skiff, Marek's had enough of Spybot. He's like, "You're an annoying character," and he just kills him right there. And Spybot even screams, "Ah, Master!" Was happy to see Spybot get destroyed. Spybot started off a kind of a cool character, and then people have pointed out Rebel Force Radio, by the way, shout out to Jason Swank and Jimmy Mack, who've done a phenomenal job with their after shows. But they pointed out he's bad guy Chopper. Yeah, he is. He is. Was never a big, huge Chopper fan. So to do another Chopper, I don't know why he didn't just speak alien or droid. You know, outside of 3PO and protocol droids, you know, or some of the droids, I guess, in Return of the Jedi, I like my droids doing the bleeps and the bloops for the most part. I don't know. That's just me, I suppose. The allies, meanwhile, they're in the jungle when Rook says someone is out there. And Rook is like, someone's out here. And then all of a sudden she gets pulled into this mist. We hear lightsaber. So I'm assuming Rook is dead. I would have thought they would have showed that. She seemed like a she was Maul's right-hand man or woman, so to speak. So we hear all of that. We hear a lightsaber. And then all of a sudden we hear breathing. And who emerges from the mist? Saw Gerrera. No, I'm just kidding, of course. Darth Vader. The man, the myth, the Sith Lord. Darth Vader. Hey, by the way, I was thinking about this shirt. They missed an opportunity right here. I mean, I love the shirt. But Sith rhymes with myth. Why wouldn't you do the man, the Sith, the legend? The man, the Sith, the legend. That's like the man, the myth, the legend. But the man, the Sith, the legend. Right here. So if I could get AI to somehow correct this, that would be wonderful. And that's the end of episode 9. Good episode. We go right to chapter 10. Episode 10, the absolute finale of season 1. We start with Vader against the allies. One-handed lightsaber Vader. Now, I know he does that when he's confident and if not a little bit overconfident. He did some of that stuff with Luke. For my taste, there was a little too much one-handed Vader because he was under a little bit of pressure. Nevertheless, the Force users, it's Maul and Docky and Devin, and they're going against Vader. And Maul says, "You are no Inquisitor." That's right, baby. He's no Inquisitor. He's Darth Vader, the man, the Sith, the legend. They flee. Maul, Docky, and Devin flee from Vader as he tries to bring down a building on their heads, but they get out of there. And then we hit the opening credit with Episode 1, Phantom Menace music, which I thought was cool. And that's when we get the opening credits. Chapter 10, The Dark Lord. Excellent. Riley, Lawson, Two Boots, Vario, meanwhile, they're in a jungle. Vario gets the call from Dryden Voss. "Hey, I'm on my way. I'm en route. I'm going to be shutting down my communications, so make sure you guys are at the rendezvous and bring Maul. I don't need you stiffs without Darth Maul. Or excuse me, just Maul. I don't need you people. I do need Maul. He's got to kill the leader of the Crimson Dawn so I can step into that role and be the new Godfather." We go over to Docky, Devin, and Maul. Docky knows this guy's a Sith Lord. Maul says to Devin, "Look, you got to tap into your rage if we're going to win this fight against this guy." They're separated from Vader at this point. Excuse me. Maul's leg messed up. Maul tells Devin he was taught by Darth Sidious, the Emperor, and he realizes that only rage and aggression are going to get them to win. He's trying to manipulate Devin into going into the dark side. She's buying it. She's listening. And Docky tells Devin, and I like this part. Docky tells Devin, while this is happening, Docky overhears him, and he's like, "Hey, Devin, go find the Lawsons. Me and Maul will handle this Sith Lord guy, Darth Vader." and you go find the Lawsons and protect them. I think that was Docky, trying to get Devin away from Maul. Docky knows what's up. He's not stupid. Meanwhile, Vader, while all this is happening, Vader pops up out of nowhere like Randy Orton. He just comes out of a wall. Big fight is about to ensue. We go to Devin, who's on her way to the Lawsons, and then she's confronted by the 11th brother and Merrick, and then Vader is there, and then all of a sudden everyone's together. So we get like a 3-on-3, like backyard hoops. We got Maul, Docky, Devin on one side, Vader, Merrick, the 11th brother on the other side. Let's go, baby. Meanwhile, the Lawsons, Two Boots, Vario, they arrive at the rendezvous to meet Dryden Voss, but unfortunately, there's some stormtroopers there, an Imperial ship, a gunfight. Here's another little critique of this show. I think they got to fix this in season 2. Everything about this show looked great from a visual standpoint, except those backgrounds. This one part, they're going for some stylized painting type of backgrounds, and I guarantee you, if you could get a painting or a poster, it would look brilliant. I would like to put one up on my wall. But as far as animation goes, animation implies movement. I hate the painting backgrounds, because on this shot, and they've been doing this all season long, but on this shot, there was even one shot of stormtroopers in the background not moving. They were like mid-walking and they weren't moving. That sucks. That's awful. All right? Like, get rid of that. As far as the characters, the ships, the weapons, everything else looks great. Everything in the foreground looks fantastic. Clean up those backgrounds for season 2. The painting gimmick, no. It's taking a step backwards. It feels like a Hanna-Barbera cartoon. We just get, Yogi Bear and Boo Boo, and they're walking and the trees aren't even changing and everything is just stagnant. No movement. George Lucas always said a critical component of Star Wars is movement. Why are we having fixed painting backgrounds, and then when you look down and there's stormtroopers just frozen? Looked like shit. Fix that for season 2. Anyway, Lawson and company come up with a plan. They're surrounded by these stormtroopers, and stormtroopers have one of those that looks like an E-Web cannons. Lawson says, hey, we got to steal that cannon. And then clean house with these stormtroopers. They come up with a plan. Vario, you distract them, a la 3PO and R2 in Return of the Jedi, where 3PO's like, hello, stormtroopers. Distract them, get them looking at you, and then we'll steal that cannon, and we'll just destroy these guys. It's not a bad plan. Stormtroopers fall for that type of BS all the time. Lawson and company, they execute their plan. As they're doing that, we go over to Maul versus Vader, Docky versus Merrick, 11th brother versus Devin. Docky force pushes Merrick off the cliff, and that was the last we saw of Merrick. I was a little surprised by that. I was like, kind of a quick, abrupt ending for Merrick. We know he's alive because he's in the Ahsoka series, but he just decided, what? That's it? Game over for me? I'm taking my ball and going home? I don't know. We go over to Lawson and company, and their plan works. Vario distracts him. Two Boots gets the cannon, and Two Boots becomes Rambo. Starts destroying everything in sight. Ships, stormtroopers. Over to Maul and Docky versus Vader. And Vader is kind of dominating Maul and Docky. And that's when Maul force pushes Docky into Vader and walks away from the fight. And Docky, I loved it. He looked back, no Maul to be found, and he was like, you son of a bitch. He still holds his own against Vader. Docky does. In the lightsaber duel, it's now one-on-one, Docky v. Vader. And Docky gets a nice shoulder shot, but as we know, Darth Vader's got very sensitive shoulders. The same thing happened to him in Empire Strikes Back with Luke. Remember when they were on the catwalk and Luke he connected onto the shoulder, and Vader's like, oh my God, no, sir. And then he proceeded to chop Luke's hand off. He just housed him with the lightsaber and then chops his hand off. Don't touch Vader's shoulders. He's not into it. Maybe because it's like it's practically like that in his head is the only thing that's survived. I mean, let's be honest. I guess his chest and his shoulders. Because he's got robot arms, legs, and the other thing. So he's got where you and I, if we bang our shin on the coffee table and we get upset, I feel like that's what Vader's shoulder is. That's his new shin. And so Vader, once he gets hit on the shoulder, he destroys Daki and kills Daki. Or at least I think he kills Daki. He puts that lightsaber right through Daki. It was the right side of the chest. And human anatomy says our heart, I believe, is on the left side of our chest. I don't know. I was never very good at biology. I got a 70. Barely passed. 69 was a failure. Not one of my strong suits. I was good at history, English, but science, no, sir. No. So that's it. Master Daki, I think, killed by Vader. And Devin sees it. She screams out, no, she's in pain. And boy, does she look pissed. Like she looks evil pissed. Very evil looking. And I love it. I love it. Yes, sir. Good stuff. Lawson and Company. Meanwhile, we go back to them. And Lawson is separated. Brandon Lawson is separated from Riley and Two Boots and Vario. Dryden Voss arrives. Vario runs onto the ship. Two Boots and Riley are over there. Lawson's over here. And he realizes, I got to distract him, similar to a Vario scenario, to get my kid and Two Boots, but especially my son, onto that ship. Tells Two Boots, hey, Two Boots, make sure my kid gets to his mother. Why would he want that? He's aware what his ex-wife does currently for a job, right? Her current occupation, working for the Empire. No, Two Boots, don't get my son to his mother. We're like, hey, Two Boots, you're his new daddy now. You're his robot daddy. We go over to Maul and Devin. They're fighting the 11th brother, and he kind of just runs away. Devin follows. Maul's leg is seriously messed up, so he's like, I got to take a seat. Devin, you follow the 11th brother. She does, and she follows him down. This is what I mean. Like, they're in a jungle, and then all of a sudden they're in some sort of building, a temple, a former base, maybe. I don't know what kind of structure it was. But Devin is walking in the hallway, and then from around the corner, here comes Vader. Also reminded me of Empire Strikes Back, when Luke was just walking and Vader sprang out of nowhere. I loved it. Vader crushing Devin until Maul basically pulls down with the Force that same building, that structure on Vader, and Maul and Devin run away. And at this point, Devin is straight up looking evil, sounding evil, and she says, I will kill him. Oh yeah, Devin. You're going to the dark side, lady. Because no Jedi would be, I mean, come on, that's just pure revenge right there. They all escape onto Dryden Voss's ship. Maul says he will honor the bargain. He will help out Dryden, Voss help them escape and get off of Janix. So Maul will help Dryden Voss. And we'll be seeing plenty of that in season 2. The good guys completely defeated. Braider Lawson, I believe, is dead. Daki, I believe, is dead. Maul is seriously messed up. And that's when Devin agrees, okay, I agree to be trained by you. I will get trained by you. Lord Maul. End credits. The end. Season finale. Over. Season 1. Over 10 episodes strong. Done. In the books. And let me tell you something. Hey, a tweak here and a tweak there. Fix that background issue. Because if you watch the Clone Wars, you shouldn't be like the Clone Wars, like Season 3, the backgrounds are far superior to this show. That was like, 15 years ago. So fix the background issue. But outside of that, as long as they don't acquiesce on turning Devin to the dark side, as long as they keep her on the path to the dark side, this show is a winner. This show is superior to The Bad Batch by a million miles. This show is superior to The Acolyte, a live-action series, by a billion miles. Great stuff. And I was highly satisfied. And I'm happy that they put this show on before the Mando and Grogu. It to me gives a lot of positive momentum. It gives, I'm feeling good about Star Wars. I'm feeling happy. I'm a Star Wars fan. I want to root for Star Wars. Disney's made some mistakes. Killing of Luke, Episode 8, we all know. Not having a planned out trilogy, we all know. The Acolyte's an abomination. But they did something really good here, something of very, very high quality, and now it's got me going into Mando and Grogu extremely hopeful. So overall, thumbs up. In fact, I like to say 2 9-numbs up. And I've copyrighted and trademarked that. 2 9-numbs up for MAUL. Thought it was an excellent show. Now, other news. Kathleen Kennedy. Folks, she still doesn't get it. I got to go to my phone to give you a quote here from Kathleen Kennedy. She still doesn't get it. It's unbelievable. She spoke to Deadline, and obviously Kathleen Kennedy stepping down as president of Lucasfilm. Dave Filoni and somebody else is going to be taking over. And here's a direct quote from Kathleen Kennedy when asked about, what are the highs and lows of your tenure, Kathleen, as head of Star Wars and Lucasfilm in general. Quote, the lows are that you've got a very, very small percentage of the fan base that has enormous expectations, and basically they want to continue to see pretty much the same thing. And if you're not going to do that, then going in that you're going to disappoint them. I'm not sure there's anything you can do about that because you can't please everybody. Close quote. Oh my God. She still doesn't get it. She's unaware that there was a huge criticism. Now that the trilogy sequel was completed, right? This didn't happen in 2015 with Episode 7, but as we look back on the failed sequel trilogy, one of the major criticisms of Episode 7 is that it was exactly like Episode 4. Because Star Wars fans didn't like that because it was a retread, because they didn't want to see the same thing. I mean, I don't know how George Lucas put this person in charge of Star Wars. She clearly has never understood Star Wars. She's never understood Star Wars fans. Good riddance. Get the hell out of here and don't let the door hit you on the way out. Seriously. One of the worst decisions of all time. If you're going to blame George for something, that's a George decision right there. George, why? She backstabbed George Lucas, right? George wanted to stay on after the sale of Star Wars to Disney. He wanted to be a little bit of a Master Yoda, Obi. I'll be the ultimate Jedi Master / consultant for Star Wars. If you have a question or something, or if I can point you in the right direction, or maybe if you have different theories about the Force, I can explain to you what I what goes through my head regarding the Force and the Jedi and the Sith and the Empire, the Rebellion, and so on and so forth. She totally betrayed George Lucas. She shut him out. And he wanted that role. You could tell because that Charlie Rose interview where he's like, yeah, they kicked me. I sold it, and then all of a sudden, like, my key card didn't work. Like that member of the New York Jets on the Hard Knocks episode where he's trying to get into the building, and unfortunately his ass was cut. George is sitting outside the building. When I thought my key. What's the deal here? It says no, I can't. It says it won't. I can't enter. It won't work. Jesus Christ, Kathy Kennedy, you goddamn bitch! Unbelievable. She was in charge of projects that made no sense, like The Acolyte, which is the worst show in TV history. She supervised, obviously, all of the scripts for the sequel trilogy, and she didn't have the balls to step into Rian Johnson and say, you can keep your movie exactly the same, but you're not killing off Luke Skywalker. Luke's going to crash to the rocks. And that'll be the cliffhanger. Is he dead? Is he not dead? Did he die? What went on? But that'll be the cliffhanger. And we'll find out in episode 9 that he didn't die because Finn will save him. And then that will allow Finn, that will allow a Yoda, Obi-Wan-esque Luke Skywalker, a proper, good-hearted Jedi Master teaching Finn the ways of the Force. And then those two go and destroy 10,000 stormtroopers as the First Order tries to finally take out the rebels or the resistance on their base. We'll switch that up rather than always going and hunting down at a Death Star or one of these, planet-killing planets or a giant fleet of Imperial ships. How about the final battle takes place at the rebels? And it's like, no, we're going to protect our home. And it's Luke and Finn leading the way. She had no guts or just no brains. Either way, it's bad. Luke Skywalker could not be killed in episode 8. Even if people are somehow a fan of the movie. Like I said, I don't even mind the movie if Luke Skywalker lives, but that decision was terrible. The constant sermonizing, bringing new issues, bringing societal issues into Star Wars, doing red carpets with the Force is female. Are you trying to antagonize the fan base? Remember that it was Kathleen Kennedy's own words that she said. Kathleen Kennedy said, the Star Wars fan base is dominated by males. So then why'd you make it a girl brand? I mean, we've been saying this for 3 years on Yaddle Chattle. But why did you do it? It made no sense. It never made no sense. And again, it's not that females can't watch Star Wars. Of course you can, but you know the demographics of your fan base. That's just being responsible. And she wasn't. Kathleen Kennedy failed at her job. Good projects like Andor and Rogue One, Mandalorian, they came out and they succeeded despite Kathleen Kennedy, not because of. But yeah, you know what, Kathleen? Oh, the fans are demanding. They have high expectations. You know why that is, don't you? Because Star Wars is the gold standard of cinematic franchises. That's why people have high standards. I'm sure 400 years ago, Shakespeare fans had high standards for Billy Shakespeare. And they're like, I'm going to go see this new Romeo and Juliet play, but, it better be good. There's nothing wrong with having high expectations. It means the fans believe that your franchise is excellent and that they demand excellence. I've never, you know, movie studios are wondering, why audiences aren't seeing the movies, and they're constantly complaining in the media that yeah, we're in catastrophic times. Cinema might go away. It's because you're serving the fans shit and expecting the audience just to, oh, I'm stupid. It's completely condescending and dismissive to the fans and the audience of these franchises, whether it's Star Wars, Marvel, etc. At a certain point, it's up to the movie studios to look yourselves in the mirror and go, we need to understand who our fan base is and create movies and series for them. And then when things are really, really awesome, a lot of times people go, oh, yeah, you got to check this show out. The diehard fans will get the non-diehard fans or the casuals to return to those franchises because they're like, yeah, you got to check this out, though. I know the Acolyte sucked, but you got to check this out. And then the casual fans will get the complete non-fans. It's almost like they don't know what they're doing. But here's one thing they need to stop doing. Stop attacking the fan base. Kathleen Kennedy, the actors, for instance, from The Acolyte, who just anytime fans have a legit criticism because the quality has gone down, it's never their fault. No accountability. It's always, well, the fans are toxic. Good riddance, Kathleen Kennedy. Get the hell out of here. Oh, but she's a great producer. Is she? Is she really? Like, I know her name is on, as a producer, she's listed on credits of, every Spielberg movie and all this kind of thing. Was she ever a creative person? Hell no. I've watched a zillion Indiana Jones documentaries or the Steven Spielberg documentary on HBO. Kathleen Kennedy never has one creative idea. She and Frank Marshall are like, we were in charge of getting 10,000 snakes for Indiana Jones. They're gophers. Not even her. It's her husband, too. They're just glorified gophers. So to think that she's some sort of Hollywood royalty is preposterous. Another story. Someone named Geeks and Gamers says Disney rumored to remove Star Wars sequel trilogy from the timeline. I'm not buying this. I'll never buy into, we're going to just erase all these things. I'd love to believe it, but then what are you going to tell us? Like, the three movies that we saw, episode 7, 8, and 9, they were a figment of our imaginations, or is it some world between world thing? If they can figure out how to pull it off and world between world this, yeah, I'm all for it. But I think it's too much work. I honestly think, and I think it'll just lead to more confusion. They killed the Saga Star Wars. They killed the Skywalker saga. It's over. The hope is Mando and some of these other new projects. Pedro Pascal says Grogu is the star of the new Mando movie, The Mandalorian and Grogu. Yeah, I mean, I could see that. Grogu's always going to be the star in pretty much any scene that he's in. And I am expecting him to do some cool stuff. I do wish he had kept his little green lightsaber. Couldn't Luke just be like, you know what? I'm going to give this to you anyway. I'm not going to make you choose between your little vest and the lightsaber. I'm going to, you know what? Take it. Take the lightsaber. And again, major missed opportunity here from Disney. I've said this before on Yaddle Chattle. When it comes to the Book of Boba Fett, rename it Boba Fett and the Mandalorian. Don't even give it its own tab. you put it between seasons 2 and 3 of The Mandalorian. So you go to the Mandalorian tab and it'll say season 1, season 2, Boba Fett in The Mandalorian, and season 3. Because I know for a fact I have family members and friends who are saying, I might check out this Mandalorian movie. Do I need to catch up? A lot of them watched season 1, but I think it was due to Rise of Skywalker or just the failure and letdown of the sequel trilogy that, they were like, hey, yeah, that was kind of fun, but they didn't stick with it. But now with the new movie, a lot of people are going back and binge watching. And it's straight up confusing if you binge watch, because I just recently did. And it's confusing that, you go from season 2 of The Mandalorian where little Grogu is going with Luke, and then all of a sudden you see episode 1, season 3, and it's like, wait, they're back together again? The Book of Boba Fett is not as bad as everyone thinks. I enjoy the Book of Boba Fett. But I enjoy it for what it is. It's a Mandalorian weird alternative, season 2.5. So that's the way they should list it, because plenty of people are binge watching The Mandalorian right now. Season 1, season 2, Boba Fett in The Mandalorian, and season 3, all under the Mandalorian tab on Disney Plus. Smarten up. David Kaler is re-editing Rogue One into what he calls the Andor cut. This seems pretty cool. It'll be released on May 25th. Hunt it down online. David Kaler, his last name is spelled Kaylor, and he says it's going to be, he says this is Rogue One if it was produced after Andor, and where Rogue One was told largely through Jyn Erso's perspective, this version of Rogue One will be through Cassian Andor's perspective. I'm in. I've watched all of these re-edits. I'm into it. I mean, that's why I told everyone, man, you go watch the Patterson cut of the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, where the Patterson guy made it into a 2.5-hour movie. It's superior to the show. It is. It's a lot more satisfying. It moves in a logical way. It moves in a better way. It's just a better version. And I think a lot of people would say, hey, you know what? Obi-Wan was kind of cool. And I'll do it. Oh my. Folks, we are just, couple weeks away from The Mandalorian and Grogu. So like I said, give me about 3 weeks, 2.5 to 3 weeks, and then there'll be a new Yaddle Chattle discussing that very movie. I'm excited. I'm really excited. As for MAUL, fantastic. Well done. All involved. Get rid of those backgrounds for season 2. Stop it. Stop it with that already. Because you've elevated your game. Don't take it into the Hanna-Barbera direction where the backgrounds are. Start, like, even on Janix, they would have like buildings and stuff. You got to have lights blinking. You got to have ships moving. You can't be just a still picture. It's silly. Why take that step backwards? Hey, I want to thank you all for tuning in to Yaddle Chattle and supporting Yaddle Chattle, as we are a Star Wars podcast, a post-show show. Like I said, when any new big-time Star Wars show or movie comes out, we'll be doing Yaddle Chattles. But check out the Davey Mac Sports program. Check out the show I do with comedian Aaron Berg, Modern Day Man. You can find that on Spotify, the video and the audio on Spotify. Just put in Modern Day Man, or on YouTube at Modern Day Man Show. Check out the Eastside Dave and Son Wrestling Show. Check out my YouTube page, Eastside Dave TV. There's all kinds of good stuff there. Tales from the Satellite, where I discuss my nearly 10-year career at SiriusXM Satellite Radio, a little retrospective show that we enjoy. And if you care to join the Patreon, patreon.com/EastsideDave. That'll do it, folks. I love you all very, very much. I know I'm a Sith Lord and I'm supposed to hate you. But maybe Sith Lords can love too. Maybe. Anyway, this has been Yaddle Chattle, the Star Wars podcast. I'm Darth David. May the Force be with you, and good night, everybody.